The ghost ship returns. The Galactic Coalition's Central Command Station hung in space like a gleaming silver talon, its curved architecture designed to intimidate rather than welcome. A testament to the 6 elder species who had founded it centuries before humanity's arrival on the interstellar stage. Inside the station's primary conference chamber, Commander Ilara Chen of the Earth Space Force stood before the Coalition Council, her back straight, her expression carefully neutral despite the hostility radiating from the alien representatives. "Humans," hissed Counselor Vexalia, her scaled face contorting with barely disguised contempt. The Drachnid representative's tail twitched behind her ceremonial robes, always causing disturbances in established order. Chen resisted the urge to roll her eyes. Humanity had been part of the Coalition for barely 30 years, infants by galactic standards, yet had already advanced faster than any species in recorded history. It bred resentment among the elder races, especially the Drachnid, who had taken nearly a millennium to develop faster than light travel. Humans had done it in less than a century after discovering alien life. The anomaly appeared in the Arcturus sector, Chen explained, ignoring the jab. Our long-range sensors identified it as the ESS Horizon. A murmur rippled through the council chamber. The Horizon had been one of humanity's first deep space exploratory vessels, vanished without trace 15 years ago. Its disappearance had nearly derailed Earth's nascent relationship with the Coalition, with rumors suggesting sabotage by species uncomfortable with humanity's rapid advancement. "Impossible," declared Ambassador Tol Ren of the Feroci Collective, his gelatinous form pulsing with blue bioluminescence. The Horizon was lost in uncharted space. No vessel could survive that long without resupply. Nevertheless, Chen continued, flicking her wrist to project sensor data above the council table, "Our scans confirm it's the Horizon." However, she hesitated, knowing her next words would cause an uproar. "It appears to have been modified." The hologram shifted to show a vessel that was recognizably the Horizon, but covered with strange technological growths and modifications that resembled no known engineering pattern in Coalition space. The ship's hull glowed with faint blue energy that defied spectral analysis. "What manner of technology is this?" demanded Sanko, the Morellian representative, his 4 arms gesticulating wildly. "It matches no known configuration." "That's why I'm here," Chen replied. "Earth requests permission to dispatch a recovery team. The Horizon is our ship, our responsibility." "Out of the question." Vexalia slammed a clawed hand on the table. "That vessel carries unknown technology. It must be quarantined and studied by Coalition scientists." Chen's diplomatic mask slipped for just a moment. "With all due respect, Counselor, those are our people aboard. The Horizon had a crew of 234 when it disappeared. If any survive at all," muttered Tol Ren, his translucent body darkening with doubt. The Grand Arbiter, a member of the ancient Cerulean species, raised a withered hand for silence. As the oldest and most respected member of the Council, his word carried immense weight. "Commander Chen is correct. The vessel is of human origin, and the potential survivors are human. However," he added as Vexalia began to protest, "given the unknown nature of the modifications, Coalition observers must accompany any recovery mission." Chen nodded, knowing this was the best compromise she could hope for. "Agreed." 48 hours later, Chen's recovery vessel, the ESS Artemis, approached the Horizon with extreme caution. The Coalition observers, a Drachnid scientist named Shezara, and a Morellian security officer called Trix, watched from the bridge with obvious anxiety. "Energy readings are off the charts," reported Lieutenant Commander Jackson, Chen's second-in-command. "Whatever's powering that ship, it's nothing in our database." "Life signs?" Chen asked, studying the Horizon through the view screen. Up close, the modifications looked even stranger, almost organic in nature, as though the ship had been infected by some technological parasite. "Just one," Jackson replied with surprise. "Human. In the bridge section." Shezera hissed. One survivor. After 15 years. Chen exchanged glances with Jackson. Prepare a boarding party. Full hazard protocols. The team that entered the horizon consisted of Chen, Jackson, Medical Officer Dr. Reyes, 2 security personnel, and the coalition observers. They wore sealed environmental suits as a precaution, though atmospheric readings showed breathable air throughout the vessel. The interior of the ship was even more bewildering than its exterior. The corridors were lined with the same blue-glowing technology, which seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. More disturbing were the empty crew quarters, meticulously preserved as though waiting for occupants who would never return. No signs of struggle, noted Dr. Reyes as they moved through the ship. No blood, no damage, no indication of what happened to the crew. They simply vanished, Shezera said, her voice tinged with fear, like phantoms. As they approached the bridge, Chen noticed that the strange technology became more prevalent, more complex. The door to the command center was now a shimmering field of energy, rather than the standard pressure seal. Fascinating, Trix murmured, his scientific curiosity momentarily overcoming his caution. This energy field appears to be phase-shifted, existing partially in another dimensional state. Can we pass through it? Chen asked. I believe so, Trix replied, analyzing the readings on his scanner. It seems designed to allow passage while maintaining the integrity of whatever space lies beyond. Chen took a deep breath and stepped forward, passing through the energy field with a strange sensation like cool water flowing over her skin. The others followed, and they found themselves on a bridge that barely resembled its original design. The standard control consoles remained, but they were now integrated with the alien technology, forming a hybrid command center that hummed with power. And seated in the captain's chair, calmly watching their approach, was a man. He appeared to be in his mid-40s, with graying hair and a neatly trimmed beard. He wore what remained of a standard ESS science officer's uniform, though it had been modified with the same strange technology that infested the ship. Most striking were his eyes, a luminous blue that matched the glow of the technology surrounding them. Commander Chen, the man said, his voice perfectly normal despite his otherworldly appearance. Right on schedule. Chen's hand instinctively moved to her sidearm. You know who I am. The man nodded. Dr. Marcus Reed, Chief Science Officer of the ESS Horizon. At least that's who I was when we left Earth. He stood, prompting the security officers to raise their weapons. Reed merely smiled. Those won't be necessary. If I meant you harm, you wouldn't have made it past the outer hull. What happened to the crew? Chen demanded, not lowering her weapon. Reed's expression darkened. They're gone. Not dead, at least, not in any way you would understand death. They've been repurposed. Shezera hissed in alarm. What does that mean, human? Reed's glowing eyes fixed on the Drachnid. It means, Counselor's daughter, that your presence here is both expected and problematic. Chen's eyes widened. How did Reed know Shezera was related to Counselor Vexillia? That information wasn't public knowledge. Dr. Reed, Chen said carefully, we're here to bring you and the Horizon home. Reed laughed softly. Home. We've been beyond the edge of reality, Commander. We've seen what waits in the spaces between spaces. Home is a concept that no longer applies to me or this vessel. His expression became serious. But you're right about one thing. It's time for the Horizon to fulfill its purpose. And what purpose is that? Jackson asked, his voice tight with tension. Reed turned to look out the view screen at the stars beyond. The Horizon disappeared 15 years ago because we encountered something out there in the dark, something ancient, something that has been watching humanity for a very long time. The Watchers, Trix whispered, his forearms twitching nervously. Reed smiled. Yes. You've heard the legends then. Most species have some version of them. Beings who exist beyond normal space-time, observing, occasionally intervening. Myths and superstition. Shezera scoffed. says the representative of a species that worshipped comets as divine messengers until only 3 centuries ago. Reed countered smoothly. The Watchers are real, and they have taken a particular interest in humanity. This ship, these modifications, they're gifts. Gifts. Chen repeated skeptically. What kind of gift costs the lives of over 200 people? Reed's glowing eyes met hers. The kind that will save billions. The coalition is not what you think it is, Commander. The elder races have been keeping secrets, secrets that could destroy us all. Before Chen could respond, the ship's systems suddenly flared to life, consoles lighting up as the blue energy pulsed faster throughout the bridge. What's happening? Jackson demanded. Reed returned to the captain's chair. They're coming. The coalition fleet dispatched to seize this vessel rather than allow it to return to Earth. Counselor Vexalia was never going to let you bring this ship home, Commander. The technology aboard the Horizon would shift the balance of power in humanity's favor. He looked at Shazara. Isn't that right, spy? The Drachnid's facial scales flattened in anger, but she didn't deny the accusation. Commander, called Dr. Reyes, staring at her scanner. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL. Coalition military signatures. Chen turned to Reed, her mind racing. How do you know all this? The Watchers showed me, Reed replied, his fingers dancing over controls that hadn't existed on the original ship. They showed me everything. Past, present, potential futures. They showed me what the Coalition really fears about humanity. The view screen shifted to show a dozen Coalition warships surrounding them. And they showed me how to protect us. The Horizon hummed with power as the strange technology fully activated, and Chen found herself facing an impossible choice. Trust this transformed human who spoke of cosmic entities and conspiracy, or follow protocol and surrender the vessel to the Coalition. What happens if I believe you? She asked Reed. His glowing eyes met hers. Then humanity takes its rightful place among the stars, not as the Coalition's newest member, but as its salvation. As Coalition hailing frequencies demanded their immediate surrender, Chen made her decision. Beyond the veil. Tell me everything, Commander Chen ordered, taking a seat beside Reed at what had once been the navigator's station. Behind her, Jackson looked on with disbelief. Commander, you can't seriously be. The Coalition just deployed a battle fleet without informing Earth. Chen cut him off. They're demanding we surrender a vessel they claim they wanted to help recover. Something isn't right, and Dr. Reed seems to have answers. Shazara's scales rippled with agitation. This is treason against the Coalition. It's loyalty to humanity, Reed countered calmly. His fingers continued to dance across the alien console, the ship's defenses strengthening with each command. The Coalition fears humanity's potential. They always have. Incoming transmission, Dr. Rice announced from a nearby station she had managed to decipher. The view screen flickered to show the stern visage of Admiral Zorvex of the Coalition Security Force. His reptilian features a harsher version of Counselor Vexilia's. ESS Artemis and recovered vessel, he began without preamble. You are ordered to power down all systems and prepare to be boarded. The vessel designated Horizon contains technology deemed hazardous by Coalition Security Directive 347B. Chen stepped forward. Admiral, this is Commander Chen. We've only just begun our investigation of the Horizon. Under the Coalition Charter, Earth has primary jurisdiction over its own vessels. Not when they pose a clear and present danger to Coalition security, the Admiral replied coldly. You have 10 minutes to comply before we take action. The transmission cut off abruptly. They're powering weapons, Jackson reported grimly. Reed remained unnervingly calm. They won't fire. Not yet. They want this technology intact. Chen turned to him. You said the crew was repurposed. What did you mean? Reed's glowing eyes dimmed slightly, the first sign of emotion he'd shown. 15 years ago, the Horizon was charting the Perseus void when we encountered an anomaly, a rift in spacetime. Standard procedure would have been to mark it for later study and move on, but Captain Harding was ambitious. We moved closer to investigate. He stood and walked to the view screen, which now showed the coalition vessels taking up attack positions around them. The rift pulled us in. There's no way to describe what we experienced on the other side. It wasn't another dimension or parallel universe. Those concepts are too limited. It was beyond. And there were entities there, the Watchers. What did they look like? Asked Dr. Reyes, fascinated despite the danger. Reed smiled sadly. They didn't look like anything. They existed as patterns, as possibilities. They communicated directly with our minds, showing us truths we weren't ready to comprehend. Most of the crew couldn't handle it. Their consciousnesses were absorbed, integrated into the collective knowledge of the Watchers. They were killed, Chen stated flatly. No, Reed insisted. Death implies ending. They were transformed, elevated. I was spared because someone needed to bring the ship back, to deliver the message and the gift. What message? Chen demanded. Reed's expression darkened. That humanity is in danger, not from external threats, but from suppression. The elder races of the Coalition have been deliberately hindering human advancement because they fear what we might become. Trix, who had been silently observing until now, stepped forward. The Ascension Protocol, he murmured. All eyes turned to the Marillion. Reed nodded slowly. You know. Trix's four arms moved in a complex gesture that his translator didn't attempt to interpret. There are rumors among the scientific community. A classified coalition study predicted that humans would surpass all other species in technological development within a century of discovering FTL travel. The protocol was allegedly created to prevent this. It's more than a rumor, Reed confirmed. The Watchers showed me the truth. The Coalition has been sabotaging human development, restricting our access to certain technologies, creating artificial barriers to our advancement. The disappearance of the Horizon wasn't an accident. It was engineered. 3 minutes until their deadline, Jackson warned. Chen's mind raced, evaluating everything she'd heard. The Watchers, if they exist, why would they help humanity? Because we're different, Reed explained. Most species evolve gradually, their development controlled by environmental factors. Humanity evolved in rapid bursts, developing abstract thinking, complex language, and advanced problem-solving abilities, far faster than biological evolution can explain. The Watchers have been nudging us for millennia. Shezera hissed in disbelief. You claim your species has been guided by mythical entities. I claim that humanity has a purpose in the cosmic order, Reed replied. And that purpose is not to be the Coalition's obedient child race. He turned to Chen. The technology integrated into this ship can neutralize their weapons without harming their vessels. It can also transmit the truth about the Ascension Protocol to every Coalition world simultaneously. Commander, Jackson interjected urgently. 1 minute remaining. Chen looked around at her team. Humans sworn to uphold Earth's interests, and Coalition representatives with divided loyalties. The decision weighed on her with the force of history. Dr. Reed, if what you're saying is true, exposing the protocol could destabilize the entire Coalition. It could lead to war. Reed shook his head. Or it could lead to a more honest alliance. The elder races fear us because they don't understand us. They see our potential as a threat. Remove the option of destroying us to hide your crimes, Chen replied, stepping forward. Admiral, I suggest you stand down your forces and prepare to open diplomatic channels with Earth. The relationship between humanity and the Coalition is about to change significantly. You cannot possibly believe you can dictate terms to the combined fleet, the Admiral snarled. Reed joined Chen in the view screen's focus. Tell him what else the ship can do, he suggested quietly. Chen glanced at him questioningly. The phase-shifting technology, Reed explained. It can be modified to affect the Coalition vessel's weapon systems. Non-lethally, he added, seeing her expression. But effectively. Chen turned back to the Admiral. "We possess the means to neutralize your fleet without bloodshed, Admiral. But we would prefer a peaceful resolution." As if to emphasize her point, the blue energy surrounding the horizon pulsed outward in a visible wave. When it passed through the nearest coalition vessel, the ship's weapon systems visibly powered down, their energy signatures disappearing from Jackson's scans. "A demonstration," Reed explained. "Their life support and engines are unaffected." The Admiral's expression shifted from rage to calculated caution. "You realize this action constitutes a declaration of war against the Coalition?" "No," Chen countered firmly. "It constitutes humanity's declaration of independence within the Coalition. We will remain allies, but no longer as subordinates. The Ascension Protocol ends today." The standoff lasted several tense minutes as the Admiral conferred with his superiors. Finally, he returned to the screen. "The Coalition Council has convened an emergency session to discuss the allegations contained in your transmission. Until then, a temporary ceasefire has been ordered." His reptilian eyes narrowed. "But this is far from over, Commander." "On that, we agree," Chen replied as the transmission ended. In the following days, the revelation shook the Coalition to its core. Many younger species, long suspicious of the elder race's dominance, rallied to Earth's cause. Others, deeply integrated into the Coalition power structure, condemned humanity's actions as reckless and destabilizing. As diplomatic channels reopened, Shen found herself appointed as Earth's special envoy to the reformed Coalition Council, where the Ascension Protocol was officially disbanded and a new charter drafted, one that recognized each species' right to develop without interference. The horizon remained in orbit around Earth, studied by human scientists under Reed's guidance. The technology provided by the Watchers gradually integrated into Earth's defense systems, not as weapons of war, but as shields against aggression. Reed himself became an enigmatic figure, part diplomat, part prophet. His connection to the Watchers continued, providing insights that guided humanity's expansion into the galaxy. "Do you ever regret it?" Chen asked him one evening, 6 months after the confrontation with the Coalition fleet. They stood in an observation dome overlooking Earth, the planet glowing blue and green against the black of space. "Regret what?" Reed replied, his luminous eyes reflecting the starlight. "Being the one who survived. Being changed." Reed considered the question carefully. "I miss who I was," he admitted, "but I understand what I've become, a bridge between humanity and what waits beyond. The Watchers didn't choose me because I was special, Commander. They chose me because I was ordinary. A reminder that even the most unremarkable human carries the potential to change the galaxy." Chen nodded, watching as a shuttle departed Earth, heading for the newly established human colony in the Ta Ceti system, a colony founded without Coalition oversight or restriction. "And the others? The crew who were repurposed?" Reed's expression softened. "They're still watching, still guiding. In their own way, they've become part of something greater than any of us could imagine." As new ships launched from Earth's orbital shipyards, their hulls gleaming with the faint blue glow of Watcher technology, Shen realized that humanity had indeed taken its rightful place among the stars, not as conquerors or subjects, but as pioneers of a new kind of galactic community. And somewhere beyond the veil of normal spacetime, the Watchers observed with what might have been satisfaction, as their longest experiment continued to exceed all expectations.